take them during the introductions.
We live.
Got
it now. What's going on?
What's
Ladies
up,
and gentlemen?
Yes.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Surviving the Knicks. STK Surviving the Knicks.
STK up
All right, up in the house. We got Ed Dollars in the building. What's going on, Ed?
Ed Dollars up in here.
What's going on, Ed? How you feeling tonight?
Oh, I feel great. And by the way, I just want to wish all the Mexicans happy Mexican Independence Day. All right, September 15th is Independence Day for Mexico. Is not May 5th. All right, it's not Cinco de Mayo.
Appreciate it.
We educate y'all on this show. Education.
Okay. Historical information here.
That's right. Then we got Wall Street Heck and Little Wall Street Heck in the building.
Little Wall Street, give us your analysis.
Yeah, he definitely does not want Obi at the 3.
That's his spot.
That's his spot. That's right. He's like, oh, he ain't taking my spot. What's going on, Wall Street?
Not much, man. Hanging in.
That's the future right there. That's the future right there.
Hey, come get him.
Get him. Put a basketball in his hand now. That's how you do it. And last but not least, we got the one and only Coach B in the building.
Heard.
All right. Big BX in the building.
Uptown.
All right. Listen, I'm sorry about last night. Y'all kind of caught an L last night on Versus. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think Fat Joe, you know, he tried his best, but Fat Joe didn't have enough hits, man.
I'm be honest, he's supposed to pull a Jada and play his best verses. That would have been.
That's what he should have did. I don't understand. He started playing new songs, and we don't even like those. What was that? Yeah, I was like,
big pun. You did a big pun up in there.
Yeah, and then tried to say, "Oh, I produced the record." I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, I wonder it. I'd rather heard that than 4 of those other new songs. But either way, you know, listen, don't start saying you from Queens, Coach. Just
No.
Just rep the beat. Just rep the beat.
Trinity Ave. I was on Trinity Ave. Well, not Trinity. I was on Cobalt. Cobalt was on the
Okay, that's right there.
And yeah,
right there.
You know, I was out there, still out there now, basically, pretty much.
All right. Well,
Walker's from the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx as well. 168th Street, Grand Concourse, baby.
Ooh.
PS 22, Cardinal Hayes High School.
So shout out to the concourse and Hayes.
Shout out to the concourse. But nonetheless, we got a great show for y'all tonight. Okay, Coach B, Wall Street Heck, Ed Dollars is gonna serve y'all tonight with a bit of information that you need to know about these Knicks. Okay, first off, let's get it. Let's be real about this, right? Knicks had an amazing season last year. Pressure's on them now. Now you got to repeat it. Okay. They played well, got to the playoffs, were offensively overwhelmed, but they've reloaded. You guys got some bullets now. You guys got a full clip. To be honest with you, should be, you know. But my first question for you guys, and we're gonna start with you, Coach. First question for you guys is for all of you, but Coach, what do you think is the best starting 5 for the Knicks right now at this moment? With the paper, we're just going off for the paper. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think is the best starting 5 for the Knicks?
Yeah, this is a loaded one. I'm gonna start with the beginning of the season, and then I'll go towards the end of the season, or where I see how the roster's constructed.
Okay,
I was going down the line. All right.
You know, you got time. Let's roll.
Obviously, Kimba at the 1, RJ at the 2. The 3 gets a little tricky.
No Obi?
Of course not. That's not my take. So Fournier is okay, Burks is okay, but I'm gonna go Kevin Knox at the 3 right now.
Okay.
Julius Randle at the 4, and for consistency purposes, Nerlens Noel at the 5. You know, that way we don't have anyone, you know, trying to take any extra shots away. Solid overall. Knox in the corner, letting it fly. And, you know, Kemba is able to do what he wants. And then, you know, the other two, their roles are solidified. So Knox and Noel do not take away from what, you know, Randle and RJ do. So that's what makes it good for
You
me.
ain't got Mitchell in the starting 5. That's controversial, right?
No, the Knox one is a hot take.
That's a hot take. You got 2 hot takes. Okay.
It's
Wall Street. Got a lot to follow, Wall Street.
You know, hit us on the Twitter. I got all the smoke ready if y'all really want to get on this with the Robinson debate. Now, like, as we go on to think about the future, I'd say Obi and Julius Randle at the 4 and the 5. I don't care how you slice it, you know, that way they get the maximum amount of minutes quickly at the point, you know, because he's a score first kind of guy, and that's the kind of guy, you know, that Tibbs likes. And I think he did a decent job facilitating as Tibbs was in his ear all summer league. So, you know, that's going to be great. RJ, I don't like it, but he might have to slide over to the 3 just because, you know, it's the best case scenario for him. And then between the two guards, whether it be Quentin Grimes or Evan Fournier, whoever could maximize their, you know, the efficiency would be the best shooting option. And Burks as the 6th man. And then, you know, between Burks, Kemba, and Derrick Rose, one of them would be the 6th man. But, you know, we're be growing towards the future and still have, like, veterans coming off the bench that can score. And Mitchell Robinson's still not in my starting lineup because he can't shoot. So, like, when he does that, you know, we'll talk about it. And when he becomes, I guess, a better chemistry kind of glue guy, fit guy, then he can make my starting lineup. But, you know, sorry, young boy.
Okay. I mean, I guess you ain't a fan of those summer workouts because you let it fly there.
Yeah, you know, but we had that take already. You know, he got to make the games.
Very true. Wall Street, my brother. What in your opinion is the best starting 5 right now for the Knicks?
I hate to say it, but I've been watching some tape on Evan Fournier because I think that he's going to be, you know, one of the key pieces. And if he's going to make the starting lineup, they do got him listed as a forward, as a point forward, a small forward. So I do like him in the 3 spot. I think that that's going to be the big question mark. I'm assuming that Kemba's going to start at the 1, and then we're going to see RJ at the 2. I like that. And then I would have loved to see, you know, Obi, you know, be one of the standouts of preseason or whatever, and fill in that 3 spot for me. I like him in the corner, catching and shooting. I like him cutting to the basket, backdoor, playing above the rim. But I don't like him playing with his back to the basket, and that's what I like out of my 4. I like my 4 to be able to play with his back to the basket, and I like my 4 to be able to help my 5 get some rebounds. So I don't know if Obi's flying all over the place grabbing rebounds. I'd rather like to see him just spread the court and use his speed and his ability to get above the rim to, you know, backdoor guys. So, but if it's not going to be Obi, then maybe Evan Fournier fits that spot. And I don't know how I like that.
The 3 or the 4?
The 3 spot.
3.
Okay.
The 3. So we're gonna see. You know how the NBA is; it gets crazy. But we'll see if Evan Fournier fits that 3 spot. Then he could do a lot of the same things that you know, a point forward, all the point forwards. He can bring the ball up at the 4 spot. You know, because he's able to create off the dribble. He's able to create off the pick,
right?
Which is, you know, why you want him with the ball in his hand in open space. But that's my lineup right there. So it's either going to be, one more time real quick, is Kemba 1, RJ 2. It's going to be Evan Fournier or Obi 3, and then Randle, of course. And then I also got Noel over Mitch for the same reason.
Wow.
Yeah, because you want to get a little bit of offense out of there. He's a lot younger. And if you're a young guy like Mitch, you get to come off the bench. You get to build a little confidence because you're going to be playing against bench guys. If he comes in every night and he's playing, you know, you go to Denver and he got to see Nurkic, and he go to LA and he got to see Anthony Davis, his confidence ain't going to go up, you know? So I like coming off the bench and continuing to build. He's younger.
Okay. So do you think there'll be added pressure? Because they're going to extend him. They're going to offer him probably the 4 or 5 year. Right now, if the numbers are floating, I'm hearing 45, 50 million.
Yeah, well, if he does that, Nerlens Noel did great for us defensively last year. That's why he got the bag. He better be doing that on the bench. You know, if he's locking up other benches, then yeah, he'll get paid.
Okay, nah, I hear you.
10, 12, 18, 25. After you get the check, then you better be starting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that puts, especially with New York media, if Mitch gets the bag, which it's all but in the bag, at least from what I've been reading, I don't know. It's going to be hard to extend him, knowing that he can't take his spot back from Nerlens Noel, which is even why I'm perplexed as to why this is even in the conversation. But it's whatever. Ed, good.
Okay, a good fit.
Ed Dallas, what's your best starting five right now for the Knicks?
All right, I'm the voice of reason once again.
Oh man, Ed's coming with the spice tonight. Okay.
Am the one that watches the Knicks? All right, this is what I see as a starting five. Okay. I'm gonna explain it two ways. Okay, I'm gonna explain it from the eye test and also from the numbers. I got Kemba Walker, point guard, Evan Fournier, shooting guard, RJ, the 3, Julius Randle, the 4, and Mitchell Robinson, the 5. You know, right now, we're gonna have our newly implanted free agent Evan, who has a 41% 3-point percentage, has a 44% career 3-point percentage in the corner. Hopefully, he can, spread out the court. We're gonna have our Kemba Walker, our new shiny toy, bum leg and all. He's gonna be able to space out the court. You know, Julius is an All-NBA player. Mitchell Robinson led the league a couple of years ago in field goal percentage and has hands for lobs, which leaves us with RJ, and we all expect RJ to make the leap, right? So, you know, one of the stats that I like to offer up is the PER stat. Basically, it's a fractional statistic about all the positive things, not including any negative things that you do on the court.
Here we go.
And that starting five, Kemba Walker has a 17.7 PER. Evan has a 16.7. You know, Julius Randle 19.7. Mitch has a 17.7. RJ is the only one that's not above 15. As I mentioned in previous podcasts, 15 is the average for NBA players. All right. So, you know, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at a well-balanced starting five. You know, we got shooters, we got drivers. You know, this is in the hopes that RJ can take a step, you know what I'm saying, as a starting 3. Starting 2, starting 3, they're going to be interchangeable. I can see RJ guarding the opponent's best player. And the way, you know, Wall Street always mentions, your position is who you guard. So I can see RJ guarding the 1, 2, or 3. I'm not sure. You know, obviously Julius is going to be the block, the guy that has the ball, the man with the 30% usage ratio, the guy that's going to average 35, 36 minutes per game. And, you know, you guys are like hating on Mitchell Robinson, but know this. Nerlens Noel is great defensively, but has stone hands offensively. My man can't catch a bounce pass from my daughter. You know, stand still.
But he does all the little plays
every single time. He can't catch.
Yo, he still does all the glue guy stuff.
He can't catch. Yo. Mitch is low key. You know, Mitch's numbers are quite amazing, and he's a 7-foot player that, you know, weighs about 260, 70 pounds. Nerlens Noel is 6'11", 100 and, you know, maybe 20 more pounds than me and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I like Nerlens Noel off the bench. He got paid, kinda. He got $10 million a year, which is what he should get. And Mitch will probably get the same. But Mitch is a starting caliber player and a potential all-defensive MVP. The only problem with this starting lineup, and the more I think about all this, is I wish we had a pass-first point guard. I love Kemba. You know, again, Kemba is the best point guard. I said this last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, best point guard since Steph Marbury. But we still, you know, and we're not going to play Luka Vildoza. He's not playing. We don't have a first point guard. Kemba averaged 5 assists last year, barely 5 assists. Right. And he has a usage rate of 26%. That means he dominates the ball. You know, in our offense, again, goes back to Tibbs. He has to be creative. One of them going to have to give up the ball. It's either going to be Julius or is it going to be Kemba? And RJ is either going to step up or step down. I'm worried about that. So the Kemba miracle agent in the recipe will either propel us or dismantle us. I'm not sure which one's going to happen.
If you put Kevin Knox in the lineup, then that's one less person that wants to handle the ball.
Now, Kevin Knox, listen. I'm, you know, I don't know, you know what I do? Weekly, I Google Kevin Knox news. I think Kevin Knox is amazing, and I wish he was in a lineup, and he would be that guy that would space out the floor. He would be the shooter on the court. Right. The problem is Kevin Knox has to look in the mirror today, yesterday, tomorrow, and be like, am I an NBA player? Can I get mentally tough? I'm 6'9", 230 pounds. Can I do what Tibbs wants me to do, which is lock my man up, play good defense, run the court, shoot my balls? And unfortunately, he hasn't done that in the last 3 years. He didn't get the opportunities, but he needs to wow Tibbs and the Knicks this training camp, or it may be a problem.
Yeah, there's a guy right there next to RJ on Just.Hek screen, and it's always his fault, man. I don't see how like we could have 3 guys averaging 5 assists because Julius Randle, you know, I think finished the year with 4 or close to 5. RJ was real close to 5 assists, and you know Kemba and Derrick Rose and quickly. So, it's cool to have a pass first point guard, but you're the coach, man. It's the coach.
I think this is a pivotal. At least the first 3 months are pivotal for the Knicks, for everyone, including Julius Randle, because he was very prone to taking bad shots. I think he needs to learn to trust his teammates and be able to just and learning to just let those moments come to him in that fourth quarter, because he forced a lot of bad shots. Like, he was great last year. He deserved to be second team All NBA, whatever the case may be. But he, you know, there was some moments where he gave you one of these. You're like, what are you doing? Yeah, it was like.
The problem is that he made a lot of bad shots that just made him make more bad shots. And the offense is a bad shot offense. Like we don't get no easy buckets. Can Julius run to the rim? Can it be a pick and roll where Julius is the guy catching the lob instead of like always tossing it? You know what I'm saying? It's easy offense.
Yeah, true.
Tough.
Wall Street, my brother, you're up. So there you go. You got the top 5s, the best NBA lineups from surviving the Knicks. All right. Now, Wall Street, next question on the docket tonight. Who, in your opinion, are the Knicks' biggest threat in the Eastern Conference?
I mean, besides the champs, and I think Philly might take a step back this year. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because they're stuck. They're mired. They got to get rid of Ben Simmons, who tanked his own value. So their best right now, it's looking like their best offer may actually come from the Sacramento Kings. To be honest with you, and it's not De'Aaron Fox. They're talking about like Bagley and a couple other players, but he literally shot them in the foot. So I don't know, you know, maybe this is the year Embiid gets MVP because he has a chance he's gonna have to put that team on his back. But again, who do you think the sole team, the biggest threat to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference?
I don't think that we could like boil it down to one team. I think that the East is going to be a little bit tougher this year. There was going to be teams that gave us trouble last year that are going to give us more trouble this year. I think the 2 biggest names that have been floating around is the moves that Chicago made, and the Charlotte Hornets got a little bit better. I love Kelly Oubre Jr. He reminds me of J.R. Smith. I think that it's always good to have a freaking firecracker on your team like that. That's a guy that can just like go off at any one moment, and he brings energy.
Definitely.
You know, he brings something that can't be coached, that can't be, so I think that Charlotte's gonna be a problem. I think that and then there was some teams that out of the teams that really didn't do well last year that did Charlotte get into the play-in game? They didn't. They
got to the play-in game.
They
got to the play-in and got knocked out.
Yeah, man. I mean, I took a quick peek, but it's gonna be the teams to look out for besides Milwaukee and Philly. I think one of the teams that you got to keep in mind is Boston. Let's see what happens to Boston, because that's going to be, if they can't rebound from the Kemba move, and I didn't see that they really try to fill that piece with anything too crazy. But that might be another spot that's open, and but besides that, Charlotte, Chicago are going to be tough.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. No Atlanta?
Well, besides the teams that really worried us last year, but Atlanta didn't make any major changes either. So Atlanta's just bringing the same squad back. I feel like we try to just and that's a smart thing to do. You look at the series that you lost and you say, all right, let's start there. Let's build a team that could compete against Atlanta. And if you think about it like that, then we didn't get somebody that can stop Trae Young, but we got somebody that maybe that could go bucket for bucket with him. And if you can make Trae Young move a lot more on defense, that'll make him tired, and then he relies on the most difficult shot in the game, which is the off the dribble 3-point shot. So if you can exhaust him early, those off the dribble 3-point shots become a little bit harder to make. So if we see Atlanta again, then this time Trae Young's going to be chasing Kemba Walker around, and that's going to be a little bit different for him. Okay. Let's see.
Okay, let's see. Ed Dallas.
Yo.
You're on the clock.
So in reality, you're asking really where are the Knicks going to fall in the Eastern Conference, So, are the Knicks a tier 1 team? Tier 1 teams are the Nets and the Bucks. We're not a tier 1 team. We're not winning a championship. The Nets or the Bucks, one of them two could win a championship.
Okay.
Are we a tier 2 team? The next place, right? The Heat got stronger. They got Kyle Lowry, right? They got Marquise Morris. They got PJ Tucker. The Sixers, the problem is that we don't know what's going to happen with the Ben Simmons situation. And no matter what happens, Daryl Morey's not going to play around. I mean, he's one of those guys that won't panic and looks at everything through the numbers. He's going to get a player that equals Ben Simmons' production somehow or no how, but he's not going to trade him just to panic. So because of that, I think that the Heat and the Sixers and also the Hawks might be ahead of us. The Hawks are ahead of us because they made no major changes, as Wall Street mentioned, but they beat us last year and they were better than us last year, and they have depth. They have the deepest bench in the NBA. And Cam Reddish is like the 9th guy off the bench. I mean, and he would be like maybe a potential starter on the Knicks. So that takes us to the Knicks, and I don't know if you guys saw the ESPN rankings. They ranked the Knicks as the 6th seed behind the Hawks, or they actually ranked the Knicks as the 7th seed behind Boston, which I don't agree. And they gave them a projected record of 44-38. We are going to be better than last year. And the eye test will tell us that we're better than last year. The record may not be that much better because the East did get better. The top of the East is stronger, and the bottom of the East got stronger too. Back to Wall Street's point, Charlotte got better. You know what I'm saying? Washington got better. They got Spencer Dinwiddie that, is back from injury. The Bulls got better. They got Lonzo Ball. They got DeMar DeRozan. They got Alex Caruso, Derrick Jones from Portland. I mean, they lost Lauri Markkanen, but he wasn't playing well. Indiana is, so I don't think we're going to be fighting to be in the play-in tournament. I think we're going to be in the 5th, 6th seed with fighting against Atlanta. Atlanta, I think, is going to be our major competitor. Maybe the Sixers, depending on what happens with the Ben Simmons situation. I think that we're going to be solidified, and I think that we're going to be able to beat the bad teams. I think that we're going to not struggle against the best teams, play them good, but ultimately lose to the Nets, the Bucks, possibly the Heat. Again, I'm not sure about the Sixers, and definitely we will not be in the play-in tournament. I think Washington, Charlotte, Boston. Boston lost Kemba and Evan Fournier, and all of a sudden ESPN is ranking them higher than us. I don't understand how. That's almost impossible. That sounds like Nick hate, as usual, from ESPN. But there's going to be other things that is going to happen this year. Bradley Beal probably won't stay with Washington. Where's he going to go? You know what I'm saying? Toronto.
Hey, all right, Ed, you ran out of time, my brother. You ran out of time, my brother. You was on fire. But we got time. Sorry, brother. I gotta hit the mute button. Coach, you're on the clock.
So just looking at the standings, who was in the play-in?
Indiana, Charlotte, Washington, and I forget the fourth team, but
so right from the playing standpoint, we got our work cut out for us. I don't think Washington's that much better. They gotta see what Kuzma and Spencer Dinwiddie could do. Indiana, Boston kind of scared me because they kept most of their core. So, like when you have a strong core unit versus our core unit, it could go either way. And Charlotte's still kind of young. So I don't think they have that guy that's going to take that shot at the end of the game. And not Rozier is good, but I don't think he'll be a threat to us the way, Trae Young did his thing. So I'm not afraid of any of those teams. Okay. I do see Boston as the bridge between us making the playoff, the play-in game or not, because Tatum and Jaylen Brown are a pretty solid duo.
Right.
The top of the league or the rest in between, Atlanta, they're solid because they know what they want to do. They know Trae Young's going to be the one to carry them on offense. They know John Collins is going to give them a lot. So they have great wings. So that's cool. Philly is the team that's most likely to drop. So depending on where Philly lands, I think for me that's the team I want to play, just because the whole Ben Simmons fiasco and things like that. And Embiid is good, but I don't see him beating us single-handedly. So depending on who they trade for, that's our target. Boston and Philly are target. Miami kinda, but Kyle Lowry makes Jimmy Butler better. I think that's a no-brainer. The Bulls, the Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan duo is real scary to me because not only do they score, but they attack the basket to get to the free throw line. So that changes the game for how we play defense, and how we go at them. And then Vujicic is pretty solid too. And obviously, with Brooklyn and the Bucks are going to be at the top of our division. So, and I mean the top of the conference. So I'm not really looking at them. Our division as a whole is very, very tough. I think Toronto is due for a bounce back because they're another team that kept majority of their core, and they added a great young piece like Scotty Barnes, who's only gonna be more athletic and help them be better defensively. Him and OG Anunoby can guard any wings in the East, so that's gonna be interesting to see. But definitely, for us to make a break, Julius Randle has to hit the shots. Kemba has to hit the shots, and hopefully RJ can hit some shots because I think the wing scorers are the key to winning those, tough down to the wire matchups.
Okay, all right. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I love talking to these guys because they keep it 100. They're not gonna sit up here and feed you no bullshit. They're gonna be like, "Yo, the Knicks are gonna be #1 this year." They keeping it real. These guys are analyzing their team. They have survived losing Knicks seasons. And these guys are telling you what is true. Honestly, I'm shocked that, that you kept it that real. Honestly, I would put the Knicks up against the Heat this year. I think the Heat are old. I'm keeping it above. I think they gotten old. Kyle Lowry's a great addition, but he's old. You know what I'm saying? And, to be honest, the real threats outside of the Nets in Milwaukee, to me, I look at Charlotte and Atlanta. I think Chicago's got to figure out who's going to get the ball at specific times. Because like you said, Coach, they got two great slashes. And DeRozan may have to figure out how to defer to Levine. Because Levine is on fire. I mean, he had a great Olympics. This is his year to really step. This is the next level for him. I don't know, but I think Charlotte and the Hawks are like the roadblocks in the way to keeping their spot or even ascending. But I think the Knicks.
For Charlotte, LaMelo's good, but he really can't create his own shot to like where he's like 24 points per game.
I don't.
He's too small, so like.
Yeah, LaMelo's too distracted right now. He's got that paternity thing going on. He's sleeping with the Instagram model or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but Hayward is back.
PJ Washington got that.
And they got.
Come on. Like,
yeah, Kai Jones now.
I throw RJ on Gordon Hayward. I throw Obi on. I take my chance.
New team in the mix. You know what? They actually would have made more shakeup last year if Hayward didn't get hurt. Actually, but again, I don't see them affecting the Knicks because I think they're going to be playing for a 7-8 seed.
Okay. So I mean, you guys kind of answered the next question. I was going to ask you guys if you guys think the Knicks are a top 10 team in the whole NBA.
The whole NBA.
I think you guys barely got them as the 6th best team in the East. It's kind of sounded. I think you guys should. I think they're better than that. I think you guys are at least the 5th best team in the East. But I guess you especially Ed really broke it down in terms of where he feels the Knicks are. You guys really gave you gave great takes on where they are. I want to talk about the Hall of Fame class that just went in, right? Yeah, Chris Bosh. The headliners. I'm going to talk about the headliners. Let's talk because when you do the Hall of Fame, there's like 30 people that go in that don't get mentioned. Like it's crazy. It's a long day. It's a really long day. But you had Chris Bosh, you had Paul Pierce, you had Ben Wallace. Who else am I missing, fellas?
Chris Webber.
Chris Webber. Those were the headliners, right?
Bill Russell as a coach.
Yes, Bill Russell as a coach. I'm just gonna set it off. I'm gonna tell you guys, I felt like this was a weak Hall of Fame class. I felt like Chris Webber, I don't know why he made it. He made more money in college. That's how much money he was getting. It's a joke. But honestly, I don't know why. I mean, he didn't do well in Golden State. I mean, he forced his way out of Golden State. This is history. Went to Washington, flopped there. They gave him his man. They gave him Juwan Howard. He flopped there. Ends up going to Sacramento. They couldn't beat the Lakers. He ends up going to Philly, plays on one leg, does nothing for Allen Iverson. I think he ends his career with the Golden State Warriors. But yeah. Ben Wallace was cool. I give you Ben Wallace. I thought Ben Wallace was cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think the finals, I agree with in the sense that the finals kind of may have that finals win against the Lakers where he was guarding Shaq alone by himself and they beat the Lakers in 5 games. That was tough, man. Chris Bosh, I know for a fact that LeBron James is on his Christmas list. As he should be, because he does not win any championships without going to Miami. Okay. And then you got who's the last guy? Paul Pierce. Oh my God. I believe, you know what? Paul Pierce has done enough to himself. I don't need to say anything more about it. I feel like he did okay, but as Draymond Green once said, they don't love you, Paul Pierce. They don't love you, Paul Pierce. All right? Ed, please, give me your take on the Hall of Fame class. The headliners.
I think that you have a jaded view of the Hall of Fame. Okay? The Hall of Fame, to me, is the best players in that year, in their career.
Yep.
Chris Bosh was a monster for Toronto and became a super paid role player, but did his role great. Averaged 19 points a game, 8.5 rebounds. He was an 11-time All-Star. He was a one-time All-NBA, 2-time champ. Won Olympic gold. You know what I'm saying? Paul Pierce, 20 points a game, 3.5 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 10-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, won the championship. Was the Finals MVP. Ben Wallace, 4-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, won the chip. Chris Webber, 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 20 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, 4.2 assists, revitalized and recreated the power forward position. The power forward position was the wackest position in the NBA back in the 90s, 2000s, and now it's the premier position.
Tim Duncan didn't do that?
All those guys deserve to be in the
Tim Duncan didn't do that?
Yeah, him and Chris Webber. Him and Chris Webber. You know what I'm saying? He put a little sizzle into the, Tim Duncan made had the stats, but Chris Webber.
What about Kevin Garnett? Kevin Garnett didn't do that?
Did he? I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's that Knicks rivalry shit right there.
That time period, those guys, I just told you, 5-time NBAs, 10-time All-Stars, those guys were the men in those periods of time. There was no one better than them in their position, and that's what the Hall of Fame is. The Hall of Fame is, not everyone wins a championship, man. If you accidentally were playing during the Bulls era, you didn't win a championship. So you can't judge it by the championships. You can judge it by the stats. These guys are premier players. But before I go, I want to give a quick shout out, all right, because I'm a girl dad and I got 2 daughters, to Lauren Jackson and Yolanda Griffin. I mean, Lauren Jackson was a 3-time MVP,
that's right.
1-time DVP, won 2 championships, 7-time All-Star, 8-time All-WNBA. Yolanda Griffin was an MVP, DVP, 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. Soon enough, these girls will get more play. And instead of us saying that the premier are the NBA guys, we will be slotting these girls in as well. So salute to you guys.
All right, definitely. Thank you. Wall Street, what's your take on the headliners? Just the headliners.
That was a great take by Ed. I think you do have a little view of. It's like Ed said, man. Not everybody's gonna win a chip. Paul Pierce beat LeBron James to get to his spot. Chris Bosh dominated. To not piggyback on
I don't know about dominating though.
Yeah,
I don't know. He played good.
What I was gonna say was, listen, he played well in Toronto when Toronto was really kind of like struggling to even make a name for himself. So that was pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I heard said one time is that if you let's say for half a season lead the NBA in 3-point percentage, right? That means that for a moment in time, you were the best 3-point shooter in the world. So when these guys lead in any statistical category for the duration of an entire grueling NBA season, and in the era that those dudes played in, then they deserve their spot. I think that it's like there's a lot of players out there that deserve a spot. I had you want to talk about hot takes? One time I almost got kicked out of a barbershop because man, I told them that man, and I can't remember the name of the player in LeBron's era when he was coming up. He played with 2 great shooters, Mike Miller, and who was the other one? Man, I forget his name.
You talk about not Daniel Gibson. He
played most of his career with the Atlanta Hawks, and then
Kyle Korver. You talking about Kyle Korver?
Kyle Korver. You see, so you want me to get kicked off the show right now? Kyle Korver deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame because he's like top 3.
Okay, so coach, nah, come on, Wall Street, come.
Yeah, I'll leave it off that. But but when you look at percentages, I think only like 3 guys were better than him, and it's Steph Curry, of course, moved in front of him, and then I think Jason Terry is on the list. I got to see the list again. I saw it a while ago. But when you talk about shooting percentages, he's above Ray Allen by a nice percentage. So I think that guys like that deserve their name immortalized.
I'm just concerned. Like, okay, yes, they made all-star teams. Of course, they were good. I'm not debating that. But Chris Webber, his finest years were the years that he got beat by the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get
they had the best They had a dynamic duo.
But the Kings were set up to beat them. They took them to a game 7. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it came close. But we talk about, like I don't know. Like, I don't feel like Chris Webber, as a career as whole, I don't know if he did.
I'm ready.
I guess I'm sounding jaded.
It isn't just about your NBA career. They factor in your college and your international career. That's why.
Time out.
No. It's my turn.
No.
Anyway, no.
This is what he's guilty of. He called timeout. First of all, his college career got smacked by Duke in the finals.
2 years in a row.
And then the second year, and he got caught for taking money. And he got caught for taking money in college.
Let's.
All right, coach. I'm sorry, coach.
Let's get the consensus out the way. The NBA Hall of Fame is the worst of all the professional sports Hall of Fames. All right, it's the worst. It is what it is.
Hot take.
Now, when you think about it, right? 5 guys on the floor majority of the time. Like most other sports, like football has what, 10, 11. Soccer has like 11. Baseball has like 9 other guys, 10 other guys. So like hockey has like what, 8, 9 guys, on the ice. So we have the least amount of guys on the floor. So of course, unfortunately, people who are borderline or who should have waited at least 3 years, go in. Like it happens. But definitely Ben Wallace, 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Definitely.
Easy, no brainer.
It's easy. That's that. The only one I agree with.
Paul Pierce, Chris Webber, kind of Chris Bosh a little later. Paul Pierce and Chris Webber, really, they played in between eras. They were kind of like 90s where things are still a little gritty, into the 2000s where things started smoothing out and started to open up the floor. So I think for them, they're fortunate to have made it, and they definitely dominated sort of kind of during their time, because Paul Pierce ain't do too good until the big 3 got there either. So even though he did score a lot of points. So again, to Ed's point,
Finals MVP for the championship.
Okay, so to Ed's point, the numbers are there. He averaged, I think, like 24 one season, 26 one season, 27 another season. So for being a wing scorer, and having to share the ball with Antoine Walker at some points, and then later when the other 3 got there, like he did his thing. Beating the Lakers, fine. You made your point. Finals MVP. You can sneak in there, even though you're not my favorite. 3-point percentage and all. Like, definitely he's a clown and a character, off the court. But big shout out to him for surviving that altercation he had where he got stabbed in the club.
Yeah, 11 times.
So like he paid his due. Like he made things happen, and his speech was it was all right. Chris Webber, he wasn't as good as KG, Tim Duncan. Maybe kind of could rival Dirk a little bit, but I don't think that's a valid argument because Dirk took his team to a championship and got a Finals MVP. So his game overall was like perfect for the time. Like he had flash, he could run the floor, he could dunk, he could score. He did no look passes. The Sacramento Kings was like one of the better teams that we got to watch during that era. So like I'm grateful for that. So you can sneak in. Yeah. Okay. You know, like you with this crew.
You coach, you've also got to shout out Paul Pierce for sending so many girls to college. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, girl, hey, come over here and get some money.
Paul Pierce, the broadcaster, like, man, I'm happy that stretch is over because that was a weird stretch. And he might be on somebody's TV screen this season, and good luck to him. Chris Webber, he's gotten a lot better over the years too, but he started off a little shaky as well. Yeah. But you know, shout out to them, man. I guess if you make it, you make it. But yeah, NBA Hall of Fame joke. And shout out to Ben Wallace. The only person.
Shout out to Ben Wallace. I don't know. Listen.
Chris Bosh.
Hey, Chris Bosh
was on the championship team. Toronto was not good when he was on there, even though he led them. You know, kind of like Kevin Love numbers. You know, not as good as Kevin Love, but similar. You know, and then yeah, I don't know. He just fit in.
Real quick question for you guys: who's better, Chris Bosh or Vince Carter?
Vince Carter.
So Vince Carter's making the Hall of Fame?
He should. Yeah, I think he will.
Chris Bosh has better numbers and a champion and multiple champions.
Vince Carter played longer.
He played longer and he didn't really do much, really, right?
Well, he didn't go join a super team. Let's be real. He went, you know, he got traded to a bunch of teams.
He did join a super team. He was on a super team, right? Wasn't he on the...
What super team? No.
He played in Orlando.
No team was a super team. Made it to the finals, but
Vince Carter.
Yeah. He didn't win a super team.
With the New Jersey Nets.
Oh yeah, he played on the Nets.
He didn't
win a championship.
No.
Did they go to the finals?
They went to the finals against the Lakers.
Not the Nets.
I actually went to that finals.
He didn't go to the finals with the Nets though. He went to the finals with Orlando. Right? Yeah, with Orlando.
He didn't request a trade to the Nets. They just traded him.
Yeah, he did it. They just got rid. They was like,
right.
You gotta move him.
He didn't make the finals with the Nets. It was
Orlando,
Kmart and RJ with Jason Kidd that went to the finals.
That's a
and
fact.
Then he came in for RJ, right? Kmart.
No, because Kmart left as a free agent. He went to
and then he came in.
He got traded for a coach, I think.
Eric Williams, a bunch of
nonsense.
That's crazy. That's what I can remember.
It was highway robbery, but he never joined the super team. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really, you know, like he just got traded to teams, and I think he chose to play for like Dallas. He chose to play for like Sacramento and the Hawks and stuff like that, but he never, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, his numbers, Chris Bosh's numbers may be better, but
I got it.
Vince Carter, I mean,
read the numbers off real quick, Ed.
No, it's gonna be better because Vince Carter played for like 40 years. Like
I know total points. I know total points. Obviously, Carter got it, but like rebounds,
listen,
that rebound that he passed it to
Ray Allen.
That shot to win the game.
Guarantee you a spot in the Hall of Fame. Nobody wants to hear that. No.
So what happened though?
Listen, Vince Carter is I don't know. I would never I don't know. You just can't compare.
Listen,
but
Miami's tainted because not one, not two. Yeah, actually only two.
Oh,
man, he got hurt, right? Because if he didn't get hurt, he'd probably still be playing, and his career would look a little different. Like I understand your argument, but he was like, you know, after he left Toronto, he was a glorified role player. So why is he in the Hall of Fame? I understand that. It's too bad because he got the bag, and then Dwayne Wade left, and then he got hurt where he can never play again. So he would have been in Miami for like, he could probably still be in Miami. Who knows? And he would have probably went to the Lakers with LeBron or some shit.
Somebody called
it's too bad we didn't see the complete career of Chris Bosh.
Definitely. But either way, guys, amazing as always. My brothers, great show. You guys showed out. You know what I'm saying? Put a complete show together. I want to thank Ed Dollars, Wall Street Heck, Coach B. Appreciate y'all.
Special shout out to Just.Hek, the mad producer.
The mad producer.
Gotta know.
There you go. That Lady Liberty right there. That's right. Gotta shout out that. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Little Wall Street
for
making it on.
Thank y'all out there for watching.
19 more days until the first game, baby.
That's right.
Training camp starts in a couple of weeks.
More days.
That's right. Tune in next week. Gonna have another great show. It's a countdown to the start of the preseason. Gonna get busy. I've been Just.Hek. My brothers at Dollars, Wall Street Heck, Coach B. We out of here. Have a safe one. Peace out.